Okay, y'all. Well, it seems my audio was dropped for this the first time, so we'll try this a second time, and I'll try to speak with as much passion as I did the first time. So something that happened recently was I was watching the Dodger highlights of Shohei Ohtani hitting 3 home runs in one game, which was pretty cool. And don't get me wrong, Shohei Ohtani is extremely talented as a pitcher and also as a monster hitter. But this is something I've never really gotten about sports. So me, for example, I played baseball most of my life growing up. I played a lot of basketball. I never really watched any sport except baseball. And when I say watched, I mean like tuning into a game on occasion. And in recent years, I've resorted to watching Dodger highlights, which are usually about like 10 minutes a day for every day they play. So I could never really list like an entire lineup other than maybe the Dodgers. But I know a fair amount of players, but certainly not nearly the entire league. And God knows I can never name the entire like list of statistics that like a team had, right? Like their batting average, how many home runs they hit, how many RBIs this guy had. I just kind of know who's like a really good player. So going back to Shohei Ohtani, right? He hits 3 home runs in one game. So here's the thing. He was on the Angels for a few years, and before that he was from Japan, like playing in their professional league. And this is something that just never appeals to me in sports. It's like, okay, well, as a Dodgers fan, it's like, okay, cool. I mean, I grew up listening to Vin Scully, of course. So make no mistake, I am a Dodgers fan, but not like in the sense of like super passionate. It's just like, when we get Shohei Ohtani, and don't you love it when people say we have as if like I have anything to do with it, right? It's like we, our team, we won this World Series. It's like I had nothing to do with it. You're a spectator. You're not really involved. But when we get Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts as 3 very good players, and the first 3 blow them out of the water batters in the lineup, it feels ridiculous to be like, okay, well, the Dodgers are great, but do we really feel super great about them going to the World Series when they have like this all-star lineup that they basically just like paid to win? Like, it feels like it's very cheap. Like, look at the payroll of like the, Oakland Athletics, who are in like super disarray right now, and like the Colorado Rockies versus the Dodgers. Like the payroll, it's not even close. So why do I really want to get like passionate about like a baseball team being excellent or winning when they've kind of bought the whole market out and just destroy everyone else? So obviously everyone who's like even in the realm of like politics or like discusses stuff about like society at large knows that like sports are generally just like a giant massive distraction, and that people who dedicate hours and hours of like life getting pissed off about this team beating that team and knowing how many people had this many home runs or had this many rushing yards, know that these people are putting their time into things that like are misguided priorities, we'll say. Like there's way better things that they should be doing. Now I realize as someone who's saying this, I'm like mildly criticizing myself, but this is kind of the rope I'm going to give myself and people like myself. I've played sports my whole life. I played baseball growing up, love the sport. It's not an easy thing to get like 18 competitive players together. Like what's great about basketball is you can just play pickup basketball. It's 5-on-5 or 3-on-3 or whatever. But with baseball, you need 18 players, and that's assuming that everyone kind of knows what they're doing a little bit. Otherwise, you'll have like a blowout game. No one wants a blowout game. Blowout games are very boring. But I've played sports my whole life. During college, I was playing a lot of basketball for fun, 3 or 4 times a week. Obviously, I never like played on like a formal team after the age of like 12. But in college, I played a lot of pickup basketball. And this is what's a little wild to me about the people who love football is kind of like, there's only 16 games a year, and people have like Sunday off as like their religious day to go watch football. But how can these people have like all these like talk shows and ESPN like, after show things talking about all these stats when there's only like 1 game a week and people are dedicating even more time to watching it? It just blows my mind. So the whole bread and circuses thing is absolutely true. It keeps people entertained, and instead of focusing on things that really matter in like society, it's much easier to put all your energy into kind of like my team, ooga booga. So as long as like the most you do is just dabble in it a little bit, and it's not like every sport's just like one sport maybe, kind of like I'm doing, then yeah, you're probably putting your time somewhere else more constructively. Like, oh man, one of the craziest things that just comes to mind is like thinking about all these people that were like super happy for the Lakers when like LeBron James came to LA. Like you had this all-star for like the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then he was on the Miami Heat and he destroyed them over there. But then he comes to the Lakers and the Laker fans are now like, oh my god, now we have LeBron James. We're going to do amazing. We're like awesome. We can't be stopped. It's like, well, dude, you guys this guy was like an all-star for the other team. And this is one thing that I really like about the Japanese baseball culture way, way more than like the US. If a player's on a team, generally they're going to be there for life. They have like very, very minor trades go on, but like the trading culture is completely and totally different. The player's on that team for life, generally. So I don't know. When another team gets an all-star, it's just kind of like, do I really care? This guy can just be moved around like a chess pawn for all I know, right? And it makes no difference to my life anyway, right? So I'm not going to dedicate much time to this. Yes, and the last thing I want to mention that I mentioned in the first video, but not in this one, was that soccer here is obviously in this part of the world extremely religious. Like everyone has their like 5 or 6 teams that they like get behind in soccer, and I don't really give a fuck about soccer. I only ever played, like I said, baseball and basketball. I've been like mildly aware of football, never been a huge person for it. But like when it comes to soccer, I always thought it was kind of like in the category of tennis where it's like a little gay, you know? And yes, tennis players can be really good. Only in the last 2 or 3 years have I kind of finally started to admit that. But still, like, if you had to be, like, more manly, I would say, like, yeah, if you're going to be more manly, you're going to be a baseball, basketball, football guy, not a tennis guy. And soccer over here, they're just as religious about it, if not more religious. So remember, we have all of our sports to choose from, but they only have, like, their one sport of soccer, and they just, like, the whole population just, like, channels their whole, like, energy into it, you know? So certain things about music here in Argentina and certain things... and, like, their soccer culture is, like, way different, but, like, way, way, way stronger. At least in terms of sports. Music is kind of a lot of the same. People really, really fucking like their music here. But, like, sports is, like, they're fucking religious about it. Ah, yes, and the last thing I forgot to throw in is even after all of this, like, sports stuff, it's already kind of hard for me to pay attention to sports for hours and hours at a time, which I just simply don't do anymore. It never really did. But especially what we saw during COVID with all of them, like, supporting, like, BLM outwardly and kind of putting things on, like, the court. After that, I was kind of like, whoa, 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 whoa. We are really overstepping our bounds here, and this is just starting to get unwatchable. Now, baseball was never, like, super over, but the NBA, man, that was fucking brutal. Like, the NBA went above and beyond with all the BLM shit. And so watching the NBA just was not an option because of how disgusting it was. And it makes sense because when you look at the culture that, like, NBA and its players kind of perpetuate, it tends to just be, like, very toxic and very different from other sports, but... maybe the NFL too, but the NBA specifically. People look up to these guys as like role models. Like I think his name is Ja Morant on the Grizzlies, or he was on the Grizzlies. I don't really know. This guy was like a great player or whatever, but I think he's like a huge problem. And a lot of these guys have like bad attitudes, right? You're not going to see that as much in like the MLB. So they perpetuate bad attitudes, and then these kids like look up to these all-stars to be like, oh man, this guy's got an attitude. Why don't I get a fucking attitude? So there you have it. I dabble in sports a little bit, but I play sports way more in my life. And when you think about it, it's kind of like watching porn almost, right? You're kind of admiring another man's work and maybe even vicariously living through it, although it may be not so sexual in the thing with sports. Although it's kind of hard to say it's not sexual when you have like balls, sticks, physical contact. I mean, it could be parallels, you know? I'm sure someone has made a joke about that on the internet somewhere. Oh, well, there you go. Don't waste your time with sports all too much. It's better to just go play sports in person. It's a great way to meet people rather than kind of meet other people that are, you know, admiring other men's work who are playing sports, you know, for a living.